Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to this mini series of The Voice of the Divine Feminine. Today, I have the absolute pleasure of sitting down with Joan of Angels. Joan of Angels is a renowned spiritual artist, international speaker, author, and intuitive coach, igniting divine sparks worldwide with mesmerizing artwork and profound insight. Pioneer of visionary arts, her vibrant pieces are portals to higher consciousness, blending sacred symbolism with contemporary aesthetics. With deep connection to the angelic realm, Joan infuses energy and light into each stroke, guiding viewers on a journey of self-discovery. As an intuitive coach, she empowers clients to embrace authenticity and purpose. Dive into her enchanted world where art and spirituality converge in a dance of color and light, illuminating paths of self-discovery and transformation. Welcome, Joan. It's a pleasure to have you here.
I am so excited to be here. I just love hearing everything. It's like, oh gosh, I do all that. How wonderful. So I'm excited to be here.
Amazing. It's such a pleasure to have you. And reading your bio is absolutely inspiring. And also reading your chapter and what you've shared, you sound like you've had an amazing journey throughout this experience so far of this lifetime.
You
So,
know what? Quite a life. Absolutely.
so the first question that I'd like to ask you is, what is your connection to the divine feminine, and or how would you describe the divine feminine?
Wow. So the divine feminine, we know that it's an archetypal concept, but the divine feminine to me is that essence of ours that embodies compassion, love, wisdom, that nurtures, that uplifts, that creates beauty, that feeds our soul and our bodies and fluffs our wings and makes us feel that sense of connection to the divine, but through enhancing our feminine attributes, which are the softness that we hold, the wisdom that we hold, the ability to make people feel at home and comfortable, and our intuitive gifts as women. So the divine feminine is that optimum expression of who we are, and that's being received in a way by the world.
That's an absolutely beautiful description. I love that. And continuing on the divine feminine and into your chapter was about your connection with Hathor and how she was able to connect you with your divine feminine and your goddess within. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about the process of how your chapter came to be and or the influence that helped you come up with it?
Well, I have to say that working with Radhaa actually helped me remember who I've really been, but I've known for a long time. When I was very young, and in the last few years, my mother came to me about 4 years ago and said, don't forget you were the daughter of Cleopatra. And I'll explain that in a second. But all my life, I've fought against being beautiful and really resisted it, very angry about it, took ugly pills for half my life. And part of it was because my mother had been so beautiful that that's all people saw. They didn't see anything beyond her. And I always wanted people to know the real me. So this real me, of course, I didn't want it to include beauty. Now, the reason I say that is my mom came to me a few years ago to remind me of that Cleopatra soul essence that I have. And as I started to learn about Hathor's presence on the planet in Egypt was very specific. She was to use her beauty to inspire peace, joy, compassion, and balance for the people. The people of Egypt had such hardships and their lives were very hard. And Hathor would come out, and her real role was to use her beauty and her divine feminine to make the people, or allow the people to feel that beauty, to allow them to feel more gracious and compassion. And so I began to understand that the gift of beauty that Hathor had, that Cleopatra had, that I have, is to be used for people, for the people, to gain that sense of balance. And it is funny because I used to say, well, I think I'm attractive so people will listen to me. But I think that's so that people really get it. They get their own beauty through that. And so that's how my awakening with Hathor really began, when I began to realize that those qualities in me that I was rejecting all my life were the ones that were to be celebrated, because that's who I am. And I am here to inspire and uplift humanity. And so the minute I really dived in with Radha to get that, I had this whole epiphany and awakening.
I love that. And was it through a session with Radha that ended up happening, or was it through like an incubation session that happens within her company?
Well, I think the way it really happened is that she reached out to me to interview her. And as I was interviewing her, and I realized she was so beautiful in that interview. She looked like a goddess, and I wasn't looking goddess-like at that moment. I hadn't dressed like a goddess. And I felt I felt the shift between the two of us. She was emulating the goddess and I wasn't. But as we were talking, she started actually bringing out the goddess in me, literally. So that by the time we ended my interview of her, I had an understanding that there was a whole realm for me to really allow myself to dive in. It's not that I didn't know I had Egyptian connections. I just hadn't allowed myself to go there because I've been using my more masculine sense to get ahead in the world. So then I had a session with her, and the session anchored that in for me.
Oh, I love that. That's so
Mhm.
beautiful.
I
And
love Rod. He's
she's
gifted.
a being. She is. And as you said, her presence brings out such a divine feminine. I had a similar experience as well, just in our incubation sessions for the poetry book that's coming out, Poems of the Heart. And same thing, where I showed up and was not feeling in my divine feminine. And by the end of it, I felt like I was ready to dance. And I felt like there was such a lightness. She has such a beautiful healing energy. And speaking of,
Her work.
Mhm. Speaking of Radha and Radha's publishing house, what was your experience with Radha's publishing house, as not necessarily as Radha, but as her company? What was your experience with the whole process of the book and creating the book?
I think she has a wonderful process. She makes it very, very easy for you. She does trainings to help you release your blocks, I would say, and to really remember. And so she's extremely talented at that. And I was just so happy with the beauty of the books. Honestly, they're exquisite. And I really appreciate her to the bottom of my heart. So I highly recommend Radha Publishing House.
I love that. And if you could
Yeah,
describe having worked with Radha's publishing house in one word, what would that word be?
the word that comes to me is exquisite.
That's a beautiful word.
Yeah, exquisite because, first of all, Radha is exquisite herself, but it was an exquisite experience. It's a high value. The book itself is beautiful, and her work is very, very beautiful, and so exquisite.
I love that. And
Mhm.
peering back towards the goddess, since the book has been released, has there been, we'll say, any deepening with Hathor or with any other goddesses that has happened for you since the book was released?
Well, it's so interesting because right after the book was released, I went to Egypt.
Oh,
And I was in Egypt for a month. I took two groups of people. That's why I'm a cosmic spiritual leader here. I took two groups of people to Egypt, and I felt like I was embodying her often. There were days that I'd go in and out of the temples, and I could feel her presence. I felt her presence when I was face to face with her. I came home with some Hathor jewelry. I don't know why I don't have it on now, but I felt her presence as I walked through Egypt.
mm.
And I also felt connected to some of the other gods and goddesses as I wandered around.
Very neat. Did you have any further experiences with any other gods and goddesses?
Well, I had one unique experience where we were in the Bent Temple. I think that's the Bent Pyramid. And I walked in and I heard whispering in my ear. It was like, you've returned, my beloved. It was, and the feeling I had was that I had been the wife of the king, King Amen, as I think was his name. I can't remember. I knew it clear as day, but it was like he was talking to me about how happy he was that I had returned. And as I walked through through Egypt rather, in some different temples, I would see myself dressed in different costumes, you know. Some of them were the clothing of the initiate, some of them were in pure white, some of them were when I had been initiated and I was in royal blue, and headdresses that were exquisite. So I had a plethora of memories come through as having walked those lands.
Beautiful. I love to hear that. And speaking of the divine feminine and the rising of the divine feminine, in the world that we're in today, how would you describe your experience of witnessing the rise of the goddess?
Well, it's very, very interesting because the rise of the goddess that's happening now is extremely powerful, but there's a lot of counter forces to it. So one of them, because we were talking about the anger of women, also the divine feminine, some of our power they're trying to usurp. So as I noticed that the women are rising, the women are sort of being deprived of their ability to be in sports and in beauty pageants. And suddenly it's men who are winning, who are emulating women, but the women are not. There's a force against that's come out so strongly now since the rise of the divine feminine, and that's to be expected. The male patriarchy is known for putting like a cork in your throat chakra and for tamping down our gifts and powers. So it's really a time for more women to step in and join together so that women can truly thrive in their beauty and in their divinity. That's what I see. And it's going to be very, very important because in one way, women are being wiped out. At the same time, we are rising.
Mhm.
So I wanted to address that.
Absolutely. And I fully agree with you. As the feminine is rising, you see the counter fight against it. And you also like we're also able to witness what was the word that just came through? Um we're also able to witness, we'll say, the revolution of the feminine. We're heading into Pluto in Aquarius, so the age of Aquarius essentially. And what I've noticed, just having looked at history, is that through many ages of Aquarius, there's always been huge revolutions in the world. And what I'm witnessing right now is the bubbling of multiple different revolutions. And I feel like one of them might actually be around the divine feminine over the next 20 years, based on also what astrology is giving us too. So it's very interesting.
Very interesting. It's all about claiming our power to be feminine, and to not emulate the masculine, which so many women do. You can see even in our women leaders around the world, I think they have to be more masculine in their approach. But what's required is that feminine discipline, that feminine wisdom that can run the world and change it and transform it into that beautiful, new, optimistic, all people all people being fed spiritually and physically and emotionally through their heart.
Exactly. So beautifully said. And exactly as you said too, we're also heading into the world of we instead of me. And that's also, I work a lot with astrology, and that's something that I've definitely noticed is going from Capricorn, which is a lot more me, into the humanity of Aquarius, which is more we. So it's just flipping that letter one way or another. Um, so yeah. Um,
That's
mhm. And what would you say is one of the best ways that you have honored the divine feminine for yourself in your journey?
Wow. Well, that is a really good question. Well, first of all, I honored the divine feminine by saying yes to Radha. I do believe that because that put me on a journey of then exploring what my feelings were and who I am. And ever since then, I really make sure to emulate that, to emulate the beauty, compassion. So I wouldn't show up on an interview anymore in my everyday clothes, say, if I'm portraying the goddess. So I've upped my level of awareness of how people see me and how I see myself in the world. I look like a goddess when I walk. That's all I can tell you. I fluff my wings and I step into that presence. And when we step into a higher presence, people feel it.
Absolutely. And that's definitely something that I felt when we first connected on this call was your energy is, well, you have a very deep connection to, we'll say, the three phases of the feminine. I could feel the maiden, the mother, and the crone within. And it's such a beautiful, empowering, like it feels like a big hug, essentially, is what your energy feels like.
Oh, cool. Wait a second. You're telling me I feel like a big hug.
You do.
I love it. I love it.
Which is wonderful. And what would you say is one gift of wisdom that you could offer our viewers from the goddess? That's what I meant. One gift of wisdom from the goddess that you can offer our viewers.
Mm. You know, we're all here to express our beauty, our wisdom, our soul purpose. And it's within you. It's that light that is within you. There's nothing you have to do or be to be yourself. You just are. And when you allow yourself to fully express that that's within you and you pay attention to that voice within to guide you, then you're on that path that you're seeking. And so you're exactly at the right place at the right time and be at peace with that.
I love
You're
that.
on.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you allow yourself to be guided by that voice within and by your heart, I always ask myself, does this make my heart sing? And that's what I tell my clients. Does this make your heart sing? Does this person make your heart sing? Does this place make your heart sing? Does this show make your heart sing? And if the answer is yes, then you're blessed. Then you're carrying that high energy and frequency you're looking for.
Beautiful answer. I need a moment to receive that. That was beautiful. Mm. Before we continue forward, and before you share a beautiful excerpt from your chapter, is there any projects or anything right now that you're working on that you would like to share with us that you're excited about that's coming up?
I have so many exciting things coming up. Honestly, I'm going to be speaking in Barcelona, June 10th or June 12th, something like that. And also in Las Vegas the week before. And so I have a lot happening, but I'm launching my new show, which is going to be Turn Up Your Light or Turn Up Your Brilliance. I already have people scheduled for the interviews. I'll be releasing it probably in June, my new show on YouTube. So go check it out as soon as it's released. So sign up so you can know when it's going to be released. And I'm offering some new programs starting in June on turning on your power, turning up your light, learning how to, I call it passion, purpose, and power, because that's all about it. When you enhance your vitality and your passion, you will know who you are and you'll begin to understand your purpose. And once you understand your purpose, you're unstoppable. You're in your power and nothing can get you off of that. And so those are some of the new classes that are coming up and the new masterminds that are going to be built around them.
That sounds so exciting. And
Well, it
where,
really
mhm. And where can people find you on either social media or to be able to sign up for these wonderful programs?
Okay, so the most amazing thing is I'm the only Joan of Angels on the planet. So if you remember my name, you're good. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, @Joan of Angels, all one word. My website So go to my website. Some of this stuff is not yet up on the website, but in my emails, you'll find out about them. So sign up there, joanofangels.com. And that's how you'll find me.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing so much of your beautiful wisdom so far. And we're going to go into a little bit of a reading of your chapter now. So whenever you're ready, we'll all sit back.
Sit back and enjoy this reading. I haven't read this. I read this a little bit out loud at the what do we have? We had a book signing in Glastonbury last year. So I did read some of it. So we'll start. Channeling Hathor, merging with the divine. As I invoke the prayer, clearing all negativities, this life, past life, and future lives, I am simultaneously living in Egypt, in the sleeping body of the giant goddess Hathor, melding into this period as Joan of Angels. Powerful memories of leaving Atlantis to establish mystery schools across the globe and the birth of the great civilization of Egypt return, confirming early childhood memories of those past lives. I know who I am, the goddess of love and beauty, the cosmic channel between heaven and earth. I am the mother of the pharaohs and the grandmother of the ancients. As the consort to Ra, the sun god, and Horus, the sky god, I walk among the sky deities as their oracle and muse. When the days of the ancient gods were complete, Egypt and much of the ancient world descended into darkness. It was predicted that with the beginning of the Aquarian age, enlightenment would commence, and we, from the future, would awaken the sleeping ones we once were. Years ago, in a vision clear as night, I found myself swimming towards the oracle of Delphi in the Caspian Sea. The great god Poseidon was on my right, as was my beloved dog Bear, both statues underwater, hundreds of feet high. Instead of arriving on land, mermaids escorted me and guided me deep below into a vast underwater Olympian temple. The banquet tables were filled to the brim with food fit for the gods and delicacies to bring delight. Each deity my eyes beheld was dressed in golden, iridescent threads, adorned with jewels and embedded with high-frequency energy. Here, in the presence of the gods of old, I was welcomed to my rightful place at this divine table as a beloved family member returning home. What a night, dancing with the gods, swept up in a whirlwind of celestial twists and twirls till we spun off the planet. I thought the ancient gods had left this planet long ago, but little did I know they were waiting, suspended underwater. They have been waiting for you and for me to awaken, as the energies of the goddess are needed now to stabilize humanity in these times of tradition. The 1,000-year state of suspension has come to an end. Watch now as the goddess returns to her glory and takes charge of rebirthing the upgraded spiritual human, replacing the outdated DNA with new templates and codes containing powerful angelic origins. With the turning of time, both the giants and gods went deep inside Gaia, either in suspended animation, or some were fossilized, waiting till humanity awakens to their divine history, and it is safe once again to remember. Those who place their ears on the earth say the mother is shaking as the giants are stirring. Ancient prophecies tell us the gods will awaken soon when the breath of light flows over them. You are in the process of remembering the goddess you embody and with whom you share soul resonance. Your life breath awakens the goddess of old, animating its body and activated solely by you. These are the times you have been called, and for whom the goddess is calling. That which you are here to do now in this timeline, you have done in past lives as a priestess, a goddess, an oracle, or a scribe. The higher dimensional skills you mastered then are easily accessible now. Those memories are a gift from the divine and a sacred treasure. Many are called, but few choose. As the goddess of the heavens and the celestial realms, I am invoking wisdom and hope to flow from above to inspire you to step into your full power. You will feel the presence of the angels unlocking your yoke and chains. Feel the return of your memories of walking these lands in a time long ago as you breathe life into your form. The goddess brings gratitude, compassion, and beauty, encouraging you to carry on despite your heavy burdens. The values of harmony, peace, and balance have been spread across the land, enabling all beings to live in alignment with the cosmic source of creation. As Joan, I have always known my mission is to heal and inspire and uplift humanity by radiating my true light and angelic presence. I have been trained to trust and become this radiant light of love and never dim my flame as humanity upgrades its activated individual angelic templates. I am merging with Hathor as I meditate. By extending my roots to the earth's center, I feel Hathor's feet open and become one with my feet. I feel my antenna extending from my crown through the goddess's crown and going directly through the heavens. My antenna extends from my crown through the goddess's crown directly to the heavens, and I am inside a rather large marble statue of Hathor, hundreds of feet high. And my soul's mission, your mission, is to do what we have always done. We turn on our gifts, our superpowers, and the memories to do your work now. I am one with the goddess and the goddess activation. I have walked this planet as the high priestess of Atlantis, as the mother of Kuan Yin, the daughter of Cleopatra, and now as Hathor. My assignment through each life was to raise the vibratory frequency of humanity, one person at a time. This has been confirmed in many visions. And so it is. And so we are doing that which we came here to do. And we are invoking the power of our divine feminine and of the goddess Hathor as we return. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much for sharing. My right eye wanted to cry the whole time.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
And just my
That's
right eye, not my
a
left.
testimonial.
Mhm. So powerful and so beautiful. How did that feel sharing it after not having read it out loud for a bit?
Well, I could have kept going, but I felt that I had read enough. But I loved sharing it. And actually, I couldn't believe those words had come out of me. I go, oh my God, where did this come from? And then I remembered that it was all channeled through me. I didn't actually need to know where it came from. And I felt her power. And I felt that it helped me understand once again why not only did I write that chapter, but why I invoked this power. There was a lot in that about uplifting each of ourselves and our soul power and knowing who we are and resurrecting that beauty and harmony that we lead by.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt odd that I had written it, frankly.
I can 100% relate to that. When you read something after and you go, huh, that was me. But it wasn't me. Absolutely beautiful. It sounds like Hathor, just from what you just shared and also from what you had written, that without necessarily fully fully giving all of your power away to Hathor, it looks like Hathor really took you under her wing as you have your wings that flap, and she took you under her wing and helped guide you towards your purpose of helping so many with their self-discovery and their purpose and divinity.
She helped me understand like that by identifying with her, by remembering that part, it could expand my life, because then I understood my role better. I understood those things that I had struggled with when I was younger. And I understood those gifts of beauty and those gifts of compassion, and why embodying harmony is a good thing. So yeah, it really helped me to read it. It helped me to write it. It helps me to teach and share that with everyone who's listening to that, because this is all of us. There's so many of us were gods and goddesses in the ancient world, especially those of us who are writing the books on the divine goddess and who are remembering. So awakening those memories are really healthy.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your share. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything before we end up closing out and concluding that you would just like to finish off with and share?
So in my work as an oracle and a mentor for almost 50 years, I have really learned the art of helping people turn on their own power, to turn on their own wisdom, to clear away what keeps us small, and to live your best life now, not in the future, not in the past, to really step into the power and the presence of who you are now, today. And so that not only do you feel it, but the people around you feel it. And those are the gifts that I share with in my lectures, in my classes, in my private sessions, and even on my YouTube channel. It's all about turning up your own light so you can live your best life.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you for sharing your light, for sharing your wisdom, for being here with us. And even just in this small little time with you, it's felt so healing. And just like you said, I feel like for me, my own light is just being turned on. I can feel a lot going on in my sacral right now.
Good interview, my friend. I
Thank you.
really appreciate sharing this wisdom with you and with everyone, really. I feel like that's my role now, is to share the wisdom.
Well, please continue to, because you have some very deep and powerful wisdom within. And thank you for sharing it with us here. And for all of you who are watching, please go check out Joan and her beautiful, beautiful work, everything that she's been doing with the angelic realms. And please, if you feel called to, support her.
I got the book too.
Exactly. Please check out the
Absolutely. Thank you
so.
so much, love.
Thank you so much. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day and continue to rise and shine so brightly, because you are doing it so powerfully. And we've got this, all of us together.
We do. We do. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you all next time.
Have a great day.